Airtel 4G co-presents The Calling, co-powered by Sony Bravia OLED and Swiggy.
I kind of had to wake up like this. You guys look very comfortable.
You look very comfortable too, man.
Yeah.
Are you though?
The airline lost my luggage. I was pretty pissed off, so it seemed like not the most perfect start.
This is all part of the travel experience, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's not just baggage or it's not just clothes and stuff like that. Like each of those garments means something to me. And just like how Gaurav has his guitar and his music, which is an art, and Preeti has her journal and her writing. For me, my art is my clothes and the way I wear them, and it represents me. I don't wear my heart on a sleeve, but I do wear my emotions on my clothes.
Challenge time. What we got?
Who wants to read it out?
Khamma Ghani and welcome to Jaisalmer, the golden city known for majestic forts and sand dunes. Your task is to transfer water from a crate of bottles filled with water to another crate of empty bottles as you go sand dune bashing. Each bottle has markings from 10 to 150 which are equal to points. The traveller who transfers the most water collects the maximum points and wins this challenge. The prize is the next grand experience and 1000 miles. Get ready to be thrown around. Good luck.
I have so many questions right now.
What is sand dune bashing?
So we're not going to be driving, are we? Like we have to sit in the back seat.
I decided to go first because I was just like, I just want to get this done with. Because I was irritated, I was annoyed, and I really wasn't in the mood to do a task. Oh shit! We had to follow certain rules.
The first one was that we couldn't let the tips of the bottles touch.
The second rule was we couldn't keep our elbows on our knees. So the idea was to kind of just toss it in from here.
It's pretty clear at this point to me that I have to focus pretty hard on the challenges because we do have this interesting dynamic where the other participants get to decide how much we score on. And that hasn't gone so well for me. The one place where there is some control is winning the challenges.
There was one point where I was literally like flung out of my seat.
Whoa! It did feel like a roller coaster, like proper roller coaster vibes, and we were just sort of
Like it
flying
felt like
down.
a roller coaster, but looks like a bladder burst. So.
Yeah. I focused a lot on, keeping a steady hand. That was something that I really wanted without letting the tips of the two bottles touch. But I was using my thumbs and my fingers kind of to steady the tips as much as possible and create a conduit of sorts for the water to pass through, like a canal.
It felt pretty action-packed. I think it was the task which I felt the most involved in that moment. Like the rush of it, the rush of being thrown around by this dune buggy. Woohoo! Oh yeah! And making sure that despite all the madness, you were also precise and made a point of filling the bottles up all the way to the top.
I was just trying to be as focused as possible because I'm fighting like 3 different thoughts in my head. 1 is that I'm screwing this up, 2, my baggage, and 3, focus on the task. All I could think about was my damn bag. I was just like screaming and yelling and like, yeah, this is fun. But like internally, I'm dead, right?
Aha! Whoa! I think I got it. Woo! Super conflicting.
You kind of try to talk yourself out of it because I knew I was going downwards. You need someone else to kind of pull you out of it, but I didn't have anyone else, so I was trying to be my own little mascot.
For a second I saw, oh wow, these beautiful sand dunes and there's all this peaceful gorgeousness around you. And that lasted for 1 second when suddenly again, you went crashing into a dune and you're back to this water pouring madness.
I had fun, for sure, and I filled all my bottles, but then I totally forgot about topping them up, which is the stupidest thing in the world to have done. That's when I was like, shit, you idiot, how did you forget? What is wrong with you? Are you stupid?
When I got off the car, I was already pretty defeated about it. And I was just like, it's not my greatest run, and I'm not proud of it, but I can't really do anything about it. So I just kind of picked myself off and just like walk away.
I thought I'd done pretty well. I fancied my chances reasonably well.
Hey, result time.
Yay.
Total 10 bottles, 1410.
Total 14 bottles, 2,000.
All right, total 24 bottles, 2,070.
Fuck!
What the fuck? Are you serious? I did not
You're
see this
kidding me.
coming.
Oh, it was such a bummer to lose by just that tiny, tiny margin. I felt I'd done everything right. I felt I'd followed the right strategy. But, kudos to Preeti. She ultimately, won out by just that little bit.
I'm sorry, fuck! Congratulations, you have 1,000 miles and the next bucket list. Your bucket list awaits you 2,900 kilometers away. Go meet Nemo and his friends in the tranquil waters of the Andaman.
Very nice.
You are going underwater.
We're
Finally
going to
we
the
knew.
Andamans again to the beach. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. This has been my dream. Oh my god.
I was still really blah. You've got all of these thoughts in your head, and the fact that you've performed really badly and that you've lost and you're not even happy for someone else is victory. So I was just kind of starting to think a little bit, why am I screwing up my experience and this entire journey just because of a bag? That's what I was trying to tell myself to kind of just get into a better mindset.
I've noticed a very palpable energy shift among the three of us. So I'm basically going to address the elephant in the room. I understand that dynamics have changed, whether it's with the whole spirit of the competition or it's the spirit of being friends with someone. I knew it was there, but it really hit me that time at the dunes, when we got the results of the challenge. And I was just supremely happy that we were going to the Andamans next because it's been a bucket list destination for me. But that excitement was mine and mine alone. I'm saying that because I didn't feel it anywhere else.
I know I made the shittiest face and I was just like completely like...
I know.
That honestly wasn't really directed towards you at all because
No,
I was
I
super
understand.
thrilled
I know.
at you. It was more disappointment in myself.
In yourself.
I definitely think it was slightly naive of her to think that we are supposed to react in the way she thinks we're supposed to react.
I was like, dude, of course we're not going to be as happy as you are in that moment. You just won the challenge. We were competing with you.
And I'm going to be very direct with you on this, Gaurav. Sometimes I just feel,
Okay.
just addressing this out here. Sometimes I just felt you weren't completely into it. Like you weren't as invested, maybe. I just felt it meant more to Atmaj and me than to him because of the way he was approaching things and the way his behavior used to be, during the challenges or the experiences. If he wasn't as involved as the two of us, then maybe the two of us deserved a fighting chance.
Like I've tried from the start to also be in this space where it's fun to compete, but that's not, I don't want it to be the most important thing in my life. I want it to not matter to me. I want to be able to be zen about it. Maybe it came across like I don't care or like I'm not invested, but it's not the case. It's just I want to approach it differently. It'll be a pretty boring show if all three of us were the same person and responding in the same way to everything. And that's not how the world works. You don't get to decide how other people feel. You do you. And other people are going to be themselves. It's interesting, right? We have this thing where group dynamics are forming. And I was like, man, maybe I just have to accept that these guys are close and so they're going to know each other better. They're going to be able to customize these things and hence pick each other's experiences. So that was a bit, wasn't the funnest feeling to feel, right?
So there is a stronger pull between Preeti and me, but I think it would be rather unfair to say that we're like a group and we're just like, okay, fine, it's us versus Gaurav kind of a thing. It's still very much me versus Preeti versus Gaurav.
See, the truth is it's happening now because I'm in a very, very conflicted position right now. Based on dynamics, it would have just been very easy for me to not even think about the experiences. I could have simply said, Atmaj, come with me. I really wanted to make an informed decision. That's why this kind of had to be addressed at that point because I wanted to be sure of what I was doing. It was really hard for me. And I can only hope that, if you put yourself in my shoes, you will see where I'm coming from. But on this one, I'm going to go with your experience, Gaurav, because I really do believe that it came from a very good place.
That's really sweet, Preeti. And that's, I'm just really excited. We're going to go diving together.
Yeah.
Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
That's super exciting.
That's what's going to happen.
Oh my God.
I was really happy. I was pleasantly surprised because honestly, I wasn't expecting it to be chosen. So in hindsight, I'm glad we could have this conversation and move on.
We're adults traveling, and I guess at some point there's bound to be some level of disagreement or discord, and it's just so much better to address that and get it out of the way rather than have it fester. And I wanted to be fair, so that's what I did. And I get to go diving at the Andamans. Yay!
यात्रियों से निवेदन है कि वे अब आगे की दौड़ के लिए प्रस्थान करें। धन्यवाद।
Please watch your luggages. Hold the handrail.
The coolest thing about knowing Gaurav is that I now know a guy who's lived in Phuket for 2.5 years and has never been diving.
Which in hindsight, I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't.
You know, the minute you break into the blue surface and you're down there in a completely different universe, you're not in your comfort zone at all. The sights are different, the sounds are different, your movement is different, the way you communicate is different. I think there lies the beauty of it. That you're discovering something new, you're seeing something that beautiful the minute you leave your world and go into someone else's. I think that's the beauty of diving for me.
At some points, I really felt like I was in a movie, right? Because the kinds of things that were gliding across your face were surreal. Nothing prepared me for all these schools of fish, these crazy multicolored, iridescent, glowing parrotfish. There was a lionfish, which was surreal. I didn't know something like that existed, and seeing it right there, barely a foot away from my face, was, you're also in a weird position because you can't exclaim, you can't react, and you can't even express how excited you are. So you're just there bouncing around in your brain, being like, oh my God, I can't believe this is real. It was just beautiful and serene. And there's a kind of sensory deprivation that's happening.
Because you're just completely out of your comfort zone. You can't hear normal sounds, you can't see normal things. You're also within yourself at that point. And I think that's why I've always spoken about diving as my closest brush with spirituality. That's how it feels.
And for me personally, I think this was an important part of my own journey of just checking off these fears, right? This bucket list of fears, in a sense. Of just saying that, see, you don't have to be afraid of this either. I felt that little bit more confident in myself, a little bit more resilient, maybe. It's actually very weird to talk and hear things now all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Like, I'm feeling pretty.
Pretty.
Yeah.